Welcome to the Oscar Project monthly preview of movies. My name is Jonathan, and I'll be taking you through the top new releases hitting theaters in April 2023. The year started off a bit slow, but picked up in March with a bunch of big releases. Unfortunately, April slows down a bit, but there are still a few highlights. The month kicks off on April 7th with Air, telling the story of how Nike rose from obscure shoe company to the international brand it is today when it signed a young Michael Jordan. The film is directed by Ben Affleck, who also stars in the film as Nike founder Phil Knight. Affleck's longtime friend Matt Damon plays Sonny Vaccaro, with Viola Davis playing Jordan's mother. Jason Bateman, Chris Tucker, and Marlon Wayans co-star. On a Wing and a Prayer was originally going to get a theatrical release, but will now be streaming on Amazon Prime April 7th. The film stars Dennis Quaid and Heather Graham as a husband and wife who must try to land their private plane safely after the pilot suddenly dies during a flight. In what will probably be the biggest release of the month, the Super Mario Bros. Movie also hits theaters on April 7th. Everyone's favorite plumber is back on the big screen for the first time since the live-action debacle in 1993. This time Mario is voiced by Chris Pratt with support from Anya Taylor-Joy, Charlie Day, Jack Black, Keegan-Michael Key, Seth Rogen, Fred Armisen, and Sebastian Maniscalco. Last up on the 7th is Paint, a pseudo-biographical film about famous television painter Bob Ross. Owen Wilson stars as Carl Nargi, a fictional character based on Ross, as he struggles to hold on to his position when a younger painter is hired to replace him. Several films release wide on April 14th, starting with The Pope's Exorcist. Russell Crowe stars in this supernatural horror film as Father Gabriel Amorth, and is based on several books written by Amorth. The much-anticipated Renfield also hits on April 14th. The latest in a long line of films based on the story of Dracula stars Nicholas Hoult as the title character, serving his master Count Dracula, who is played here by Nicolas Cage. Awkwafina and Ben Schwartz co-star in the film. If anime is more your style, look for Suzume, a Japanese fantasy adventure that depicts a high school girl and a mysterious man trying to prevent a series of disasters across Japan. The film released in Japan last year and now makes its debut in the US. Sweetwater is the latest sports biopic to hit theaters. The film chronicles the story of Nat Sweetwater Clifton as he rose to stardom playing for the Harlem Globetrotters before getting a chance to play for the New York Knicks. Everett Osborne stars in the title role with Cary Elwes, Jeremy Piven, and Richard Dreyfuss in supporting roles. And The Big Lebowski hits theaters on April 16th for a 25th anniversary re-release. Jeff Bridges stars as The Dude, with John Goodman, Julianne Moore, Steve Buscemi, Philip Seymour Hoffman, Tara Reid, and John Turturro in this modern classic by the Coen brothers. On April 21st, the biopic Chevalier arrives, about a French-Caribbean violinist and composer. The title role is filled by Calvin Harrison Jr., who recently played B.B. King in last year's Oscar-nominated Elvis, and starred as Christian in 2021's Cyrano. The film premiered at the Toronto International Film Festival last fall. Evil Dead Rise also hits theaters April 21st. This will be the 5th installment in the Evil Dead franchise, and the first since 2013's Evil Dead. The film features Lily Sullivan as Beth, who is visiting her sister. Things soon take a turn for the worse when they unleash flesh-possessing demons. Director Guy Ritchie is back with his second film in 2 months with The Covenant. Jake Gyllenhaal stars in this war film depicting an unlikely friendship between an American soldier and his Afghani translator during the war in Afghanistan. And the classic romantic drama Flashdance gets a 40th anniversary re-release on April 26th. The film stars Jennifer Beal as a young dancer who longs to become a professional ballerina but is stuck working in a steel mill. The film was initially panned but ended up being the highest-grossing film of 1983. Wrapping up the month on April 28th, we get the adaptation of the children's book Are You There, God? It's Me, Margaret. In the film, Margaret is played by Abby Ryder Forson, who played young Cassie Lang in the first 2 Ant-Man films. Rachel McAdams and Kathy Bates co-star in the film about Margaret exploring her religious identity. Continuing a line of biopics in April, Big George Foreman, the miraculous story of the once and future heavyweight champion of the world, also drops on April 28th. The film follows boxing star George Foreman, played by Chris Davis, as he rises in the boxing world, then falls, before ultimately ending up with his name on the famous countertop grill. And the last wide release in April is Sisu, a Finnish film set during the later stages of World War II. A gold prospector encounters a group of SS soldiers and decides to take them all on by himself as they try to take his gold. There may be more films releasing wide in April, but not as many big titles as we had in March. Let me know in the comments below what movie you're most looking forward to next month, and don't forget to like and subscribe. I'll be back in just a few days with my next weekly preview.